All right, this is the moment we've all been waiting for, folks. Good morning. It is so great to be here with all of you this morning. And to get things going, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our MC for the morning from News Center 5, Josh Brogadier.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you can hear me okay on the right and also on the left. Excellent mic work. Thank you. That's an important part of our business. We appreciate that very much. It was a late night for any of us who watched the Celtics almost squeak one out in Oklahoma City without Jason Tatum and Derek White. I'm looking around. Was I the only one who stayed up late to watch that game? Okay, everybody, there's your update. It was 104-102 final. The Thunder won. But the good thing is the basketball season keeps going. Bruins can get going what they were doing yesterday. That's okay, too. We're here to talk about the marathon, and I am thrilled to be with you here today. First of all, I want to give a special shout-out to Ryan. You probably heard him playing the keyboards as you walked in. This is Ryan from when he was 3 years old at the Y, right here. This picture here. He's been playing the keyboard today. He's been part of the Y for basically his whole life, starting with the Y's Early Learning Center and growing up with us through programs, summer camps. Home from college now, and he volunteered out there today. So our thanks go to Ryan. All right. So before I introduce our distinguished guests, and we have many of them as they come in, thanks to all of you for giving your time here today and being with us. I believe this is my 4th year here, but I am not new to Framingham and Metro West. And for those of you who know, because you've been here in years past, you know that one of my students is in the house. Can we get Riyadh Shah to stand? Where is he? Here he is. Okay, so Riyadh has a 20-month-old son, and I can tell you that I was but a kid when I was his teacher. Yes, Walsh Middle School. Let's kick it all the way back to 1999 to 02. Literally a kid leading the classroom. I grew a beard to look older. I was like, yeah, no, I don't really look 22. I look probably 23, maybe. That was a lifetime ago, but there are so many great stories from this community and my students who used the Y at the time, and it meant so much to them. I also taught at Framingham Adult ESL program, so shout out to them. Another great community program that makes things happen for people here in this community. All right. I could share other stories for days, but we have to get going here. And thank you, by the way, for all of you who watch WCVB Channel 5. We really appreciate all of you. We are thrilled to be the marathon partner yet again this year. And I will tell you before we continue, once again, I have the best seat in the house. I sit on that truck right in front of the professional men coming flying at me. They run 26.2 miles in a cloud of dust. If it takes them 2 hours and 8 minutes total, they were going too slow. They got to go faster. It is really an incredible spot to be. All right, let's move on. I'm confident that, by the way, all of us have watched marathons. I know you know how to cheer the runners on. Let's practice our cheering as we introduce our guests here today. Give a round of applause for everybody coming in this room. All right, first, representing the BAA, none other than President and CEO Jack Fleming. We'll get to our Inspiration Award honorees now from 2025, the Team Hoyt duo of Brendan Aylward and Jacob Wyman. Put your hands together for Inspiration Award honoree from 2024, representing Team Hoyt duo, Team Unstoppable, and 2024 Inspiration Award honoree Mike DiDonato. Inspiration Award honoree from 2023, Rick Muir, founder of the Marathon Coalition and our team's coach who has supported thousands of runners, raising millions of dollars. 2022 Inspiration Award honoree, Jack Foltz, 1976 Boston Marathon champion, a member of the Georgetown University Hall of Fame. Go Hoyas! Jack has trained thousands of marathon runners on Dana-Farber's marathon teams. Inspiration Award honoree from 2019, Becca Peasy. Becca was the first American woman to complete the World Marathon Challenge, a series of 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 consecutive days. I got tired reading that, and she did it all, and recently set the world record for the marathon at the North Pole. Yes, that is not a typo. Inspiration Award honoree and my friend from 2018, Dave McGilvray. Dave has run 53 Boston Marathons, 10 Kona Ironman triathlons, and as of yesterday, Dave, the streak is now at least 3 miles every day for 5 years consecutive. Dave is truly a legend. Team Hoyt is represented tonight by President of the Hoyt Foundation, Russ Hoyt, along with Rob, Troy, Lisa, and Zeta. In 2017, Rick and Dick Hoyt were the Y's inaugural Inspiration honorees, whose efforts advocating for people living with disabilities and encouraging the belief that yes, you can, through their participation in numerous athletic events around the world, is truly inspiring. Now on to this year's honorees, who you will be hearing much more about this morning. 2026 honorees, the Team Hoyt duo, who have completed the Abbott World Majors, Ross Ormond and Andrew McAllister. And ladies and gentlemen, escorted by her son Leaf, I believe, maybe, solo, trying to see over there, the first woman to complete the Boston Marathon, none other than Bobbi Gibb. Finally, please welcome members of this year's YMCA marathon team who have been training since December. Not an easy season to train in, anyone knows that, all while raising critical funds for the Metrowest Y. Becca O'Coin, Samantha Bundy, Michael Galante, Diego Puppin, Adam Dauphini, Shell Edge, Paul Mascis, and Adam Zandanella. Let's give all of our special guests a round of applause. And as we all find our seats to kick off the formal part of our presentation program today, let's welcome YMCA President and CEO, Rick McPherson.
Yes, this is the, oh boy. This is the first year that, yes, I have to go with the readers. I can't believe it, but wow, talk about a grand entrance, right? I mean, that was amazing. All of those past Inspiration Award winners. Bobbi, it was so great to have you come in here tonight. And our team coming in, getting ready to get out there and really raise a ton of money for our Metrowest YMCA. Well done, everybody. It's wonderful to see so many friends, partners, and community leaders here this morning. And a special welcome to those joining us for the first time. We're very grateful that you're here. This year is a special one for the YMCA in 2026. We celebrate the 175th anniversary of the YMCA in the United States. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, right? For nearly 2 centuries, the YMCA has been more than just a building. It's been a place where people come together to grow stronger in spirit, mind, and body, and where communities support one another. Our theme this year is "No place like this place." And when you think about it, that phrase really captures what makes the YMCA so special. At the Y, children discover confidence. Families and support, neighbors become friends, and communities come together. And honestly, there's never been a time when that mission has felt more important than today. Across our communities, people are looking for connections. Kids and families need safe, welcoming spaces where they can build relationships, feel supported, and know they belong. At the Metrowest YMCA, we are deeply deeply committed to creating those connected communities. Every day, that work comes to life through programs that make a real difference, through early childhood education and childcare that help young learners thrive, through summer camp experiences that build confidence, friendship, and lifelong memories, through youth sports and leadership programs that teach teamwork, resilience, and character, through health and wellness programs that strengthen both body and mind, and through community outreach efforts that ensure everyone, regardless of circumstance, has access to the opportunities and support that they need. None of this happens without the strength of our community and the leadership of those who guide our organization. The Metrowest YMCA is fortunate to be led by two remarkable women who embody the values of service, leadership, and community that define the Y. It's my real pleasure to introduce our board chair, Regina Marshall, and our vice chair, Vizzy Tilak, whose leadership and dedication help guide the important work we do every day. Please help me welcome Vizzy and Regina. No pressure, ladies.
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see so many of you here. I was just speaking with a few people and we thought this room is really filled, which is amazing. On behalf of the Board of Directors, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Metrowest YMCA Community Breakfast. We are so grateful that you've chosen to spend part of your morning, early morning, with us and be part of the community that believes so strongly in the mission of the YMCA. Before we go any further, I would like to take a moment to recognize the incredible people who help guide and strengthen this organization, our YMCA board members. Their commitment, wisdom, generosity of time ensure that the Metrowest YMCA continues to serve our community with purpose and impact. If you are a current or former member of the Metrowest YMCA Board of Directors or our community boards, would you please stand so we can recognize you? Your leadership and dedication are truly the backbone of this organization. Board service at the YMCA is not simply about attending meetings. It's about stewarding a mission that changes lives every day. You help ensure that children have opportunities, families have support, and our communities grow stronger together. Please join me in thanking our board members past, present, for their extraordinary service. I would like to also recognize the organizations that stand beside the YMCA as partners in this work. Our corporate sponsors. Their support helps make gatherings like this possible and strengthens the programs and services that reach thousands of people across the region. I'd like to begin by acknowledging our lead sponsor, Rubicon Builders. Their leadership, support has been instrumental, and we are deeply grateful for their partnership and belief in the YMCA's mission. We are also proud to recognize Dell Technologies, Griffin Electric, and Eversource Energy, whose commitment to the community impact helped make our work possible. Would representatives here this morning from Rubicon Builders, Dell Technologies, Griffin Electric, and Eversource please stand so we can recognize you? I always love when I get to do this part of the morning because it's like a clapping exercise as we get to celebrate everyone. I would like to give a special shout out to Sandy Lahane from Dell, who recently completed the World Marathon Challenge. Like our past honorees, Becca and Dave, running 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. Doing this, she raised critical funds for the Michael Lisnow Respite Center. Congratulations, Sandy. That's an amazing accomplishment. And thanks again to our sponsors. Please know your support goes far beyond sponsorship. It represents a shared commitment to building stronger, healthier, and more connected communities for families who live and work in Metro West. We are incredibly thankful for your partnership and your leadership. To all of our board members, our sponsors, and everyone gathered here today, thank you for believing in the power of the YMCA and for helping to ensure that this organization continues to make meaningful difference in the lives of so many. Now I would like to introduce to you our YMCA Vice Chair, Vizzy Tilak. If being the Vice Chair of the board isn't enough, Vizzy is also the chair of our Team Hoyt Community Leadership Cabinet.
Thank you, Regina. Good morning, everybody. It's truly a pleasure to be here with you this morning. I want to begin by saying how excited I am about the future of the YMCA in our region, especially the plans for the regional Team Hoyt Community YMCA. This December, I was in Holliston, Massachusetts, dropping off a care package for my very good friend, Kathy Stenquist, and her husband, Scott, who's undergoing treatment for a recurrence of his cancer. Hoping to enlighten them, I recommended he consider the Live Strong program at our Metrowest YMCA, which provides support to those who are undergoing cancer treatment. Scott, proudly beaming, told me, "I'm already part of the Live Strong program, Vizzy. In fact, he had even graduated to the Live Stronger program." And they were so grateful for the Metrowest YMCA, the support they had gotten through tough times. They were going to be here this morning, but they could not because Scott is undergoing testing for clinical trials at MGH this morning. They expressed their excitement about the new Regional Y and the proximity to the community and extended their heartfelt support. Aha moments like these reiterate why we do what we do and the need for the Regional Y. This project represents so much more than a new building. It's about expanding the YMCA's ability to serve families across Metro West. It's about creating a place where children can grow, families can find support, and our communities can come together in meaningful ways. I am so honored to be part of an extraordinary group of community leaders who are helping bring this vision to life. I have the privilege of serving on the Capital Campaign's Leadership Cabinet alongside 21 incredible community leaders who have stepped forward to champion this effort and help make this dream a reality. To date, we have raised $14 million and counting. If the members of our leadership cabinet are here this morning, would you please stand so we could recognize and thank you for your commitment and leadership? Your willingness to step forward, lend your voice, and engage others in this effort is truly inspiring. Projects like these only happen when dedicated community leaders decide that the future of our region and the opportunities we provide to our children and families are worth investing in. And this morning, I'm very excited to share some wonderful news. The Metrowest YMCA Board of Directors has officially authorized the start of Phase 1 of the Regional Team Hoyt Community YMCA project. Phase 1 will include the new Regional Early Learning Center and the site work for the full facility. The need in our community, especially for quality, affordable early education and care, is simply too great to wait. Families across our region are searching for trusted places where children can learn, grow, and thrive while parents are able to work and support their families. Because of this urgent need, we will be moving forward with the first phase of this project, and we are planning to break ground this spring. This is an important first step in bringing full vision of the regional Team Hoyt Community YMCA to life, and it represents a powerful commitment to the children and families who need us most. Thank you so much for being here this morning and for believing, as we do, that investing in children, families, and community is one of the most important things we can do together. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina, and thank you, Vizzy. Our next speaker is truly a champion for children and families throughout Metro West. Please join me in welcoming State Senate President Karen Spilka.
Good morning. Oh, you guys have had coffee. You can do better than that. Good morning. Much better, much better. I know it's still early, but I want to welcome all of you here. This is my district. I believe it's the heart of the Metro West, the start of the marathon. That's a championship thing just to begin with, so it's very exciting to see all of you here. Thank you, Josh, for that introduction. And welcome to the 10th Annual Metrowest YMCA Inspiration Breakfast. It's always wonderful to get a side or a major portion of inspiration with your scrambled eggs and your toast. What a way to start a wonderful day and weekend. So this is one of my favorite events because two reasons. It truly does inspire me, and I know it inspires all of you as well. Also, this is a harbinger of really spring. Longer daylight hours, we had a taste of that this last week. Longer daylight hours, warm weather, people can go out there and start practicing more outside for their runs, for the marathon, for their bicycle rides, for the PMC, or whatever they want to do. And this is always a really wonderful, vibrant, exciting time of year. So I thank you all for being here. I'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge a few people who I've worked with. I actually do want to mention, when I joined the school committee years ago, I joined 3 other organizations. One of them was the Board of the Y. I felt like being on the school committee, having that connection to the Y would really help me be in touch with what was going on with our children, the families, the communities, and make the connections. I also joined the chamber. That was a part of it, and the Framingham ESL Fund at the time. But those were 3 really important organizations, and they still are terrific and important today. So I thank all of you who participate on those. I want to thank the YMCA CEO, Rick McPherson, for all you do every single day. Yes. Peter Weisgerger and Amy Miller, who planned this event. David O'Leary, who's everywhere when these kind of events are around. Thank you. DA Marion Ryan, she truly is a force unto herself as well, and she's a great DA as well as a great person. And our incredible state representatives that are here, Rep. Jack Lewis, Rep. Kate Donahue, Rep. James Arena DeRosa, and Rep. Priscilla Sousa, and staff from our federal delegation. I don't want to forget forget you to mention, acknowledge you. And I also want to acknowledge and thank all of our local officials that are in the room. I think Mayor Szycki is here, but there's, yes, you can. We will always accept applause. It's great. It's great. There's a bunch of your towns from here. Yes. I'd like to ask if you are on a select board member, school committee member, city councilor, town manager, town administrator, would you please stand up to be recognized and honored? Now, I think many of you know what a difficult job that is, especially now when times are tight, funds are tight, and policies change by the day or the wind, or it's like New England weather, a few hours later, it's changed. So it's really a difficult time for local elected officials, and I want to thank you. We all give a lot of thanks and recognition to all of you. You don't always get thanks, but people who know what you do really recognize the hard work that you do every single day. So thank you so much. I also want to congratulate and recognize Bobbi Gibb, the first woman to run a Boston Marathon. Bobbi, you may not remember, but you were in my office when I had your portrait on the wall with I rotate significant women, people who had a positive, significant impact on Massachusetts, because the State House doesn't have hardly any women when you walk around the building, either by accident or design. We were forgotten or neglected. I don't want to put judgment there. So I've taken upon myself to cover I'm the 95th Senate President. Every March, Women's History Month, I cover the long-term prior Senate presidents, which were pretty much all old white men, and I cover them with significant women who have made a positive impact, significant positive impact. This year's grouping, I call it Her Story, not history, Her Story. This year's grouping are women who were disruptors in their field and who sort of broke the ceilings in their fields. And we try to make it diverse from geographic background, racial, ethnic, the sector that they come from. So if you haven't seen it, a little plug, public service announcement. My office is open to the public every Friday. Feel free to come in and see it. You can see it. It's great. I'd like to recognize also the duo of Andrew McAllister and Ross Ormond, the first duo to complete in the 6 major world marathons. I can't even imagine that. Congratulations on your awards today and for what you have done to tear down barriers for women and people with disabilities. The YMCA, I believe, is unlike anything else, any other organization. This is an organization that builds community and shows people that we belong. It provides essential services like early education and care, programming from health needs to addressing food insecurity to teen leadership development. Simply put, and this isn't such a simple thing, we all know, it builds strong, resilient children and strong, resilient adults that turn into stronger, resilient families that builds stronger communities and makes our Commonwealth much stronger and more powerful as a state. So thank you. And this year is especially exciting with the new Team Hoyt Community YMCA breaking ground this fall. That is very exciting. I know all of us are looking forward to it. This organization is so powerful for people in Metro West, and I am so excited to deliver $850,000 for this facility. Because this facility will truly be transformative for Metro West programming. So I want to thank everybody that leads this institution, inspires our kids, and makes Massachusetts a better, healthier state. Enjoy your event and have a great day. Thank you.
All right, our thanks again to State Senate President Spilka for all you do. Thank you for being here this morning with us. The Boston Marathon is truly part of the fabric of our community. We all know that. So much history, 130th year, so much impact. And our next speaker does an incredible job coordinating all the moving pieces, and there are so many that make it happen. Please join me in welcoming Jack Fleming, the president of the BAA.
Thank you. Congratulations to the Metrowest YMCA. This is always an awesome kickoff. You know that we are getting very, very close when you all host it. And for everybody on the Metrowest YMCA staff, thank you for everything that you do for this area. I live in this area and really appreciate it. You know, in a race that has so many anniversaries, we're 130 years old this year. We're a relatively small organization. So I just wanted to shout out to our team of Nicole, Judy, and Scott. Please, if you raise your hand. Thank you for always representing us so well. You know, sometimes I don't need note cards. Sometimes I do need note cards. And this is one occasion that I don't need note cards, but I have note cards. Sometimes everybody knows the legend. Sometimes everybody knows of a legend. And sometimes a race can make the person, and sometimes a person can make the race. So 50 years ago, I know we had 60 years ago, 50 years ago, Jack Fultz won the Boston Marathon on an extremely hot day. But that is just the headline. It was a very proud chapter in the history of the race. Jack Fultz is a very dear friend of the Metrowest YMCA and to the BAA and to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and to runners everywhere. It was epic then, 50 years ago. Call it an instant classic, and it is iconic now. It was not only a story of what and how, but it was also a story of who. And by the way, I'm looking at Jack Fultz as I'm talking to him here, so that's why I'm not covering the whole audience. I'm talking to Jack. The Run for the Hoses, as it was called, the Run for the Hoses, we've heard of that, meant that everyone came out for the runners to do more than cheer them on. They came out to support and did whatever they could, gave them water, cooled them down. That's the marathon, right? That's our marathon. That's this marathon. It was the type of spirit of the marathon that we here in Boston are known for. When I say Boston, I mean all of the 8 cities and towns. Without the preparation, perseverance, and determination, maybe Jack's story would have been different, but he did have all of that, and he won. So how do we know Jack, had all the things? Because he's still doing it today, still giving back to thousands of others each and every year, making a difference, inspiring runners to go farther and further but mostly farther. You know, 50 years on, what Jack did still inspires runners and spectators. What the spectators did still inspires others. Who knew that garden hoses could do so much? My first day working with Jack at the Boston Athletic Association in 1991, I met him. He brought me into the down the hall where we had a coffee machine. And he said something that I've never forgotten. He said, "Keep on keeping on." I had to stop back, think about that for a little while. And actually, I still think about when you said that, Jack. That's what this is all about. That's what we all do. Jack, thank you for everything that you have done for the sport of running, for the Boston Marathon, and for the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. And I would ask everyone to acknowledge Jack. And Jack, please stand up so everybody can see you.
All right, David O'Leary, you got an introduction before and you're coming right back up now. Everybody welcome David O'Leary, board member and fantastic voice of Boston radio.
I'm everywhere, it turns out. It is marvelous to be here today. It is marvelous to see so many familiar faces just joining us in support of this amazing organization. Before my remarks, I'm going to ask you to turn to the video screen to meet a couple of friends and for a quick reminder why we're here today. So please.
Every time something happens in my family, it's like the Y is there as an extension of the community. Not even an extension. It's my community.
I feel like this is the core resource that's helping alongside my wife and I and our family to raise our kid.
The Y was my support system when I didn't have one. The Y was like a parent to me when my parent, unfortunately, was not there.
The important part of the Y for me was, it started me on my fitness journey. I was borderline obese. I've lost nearly 100 pounds to this point, and I really built some friendships there.
I really think of the Y as my second home. I always have, but it's just a fantastic place.
I didn't actually start running for fun until later in college. And that was really where I found the love of road running and racing. I made it through my first marathon training and my first marathon without any injuries. The symptoms started presenting themselves when I was training for my second marathon, and my legs had a different idea. We tried a lot of different physical therapy and testing. Nothing was really helping me feel better. The symptoms started to build, and that presented itself in just a lot of intense pain in my lower legs. Standing, walking, running, really no matter what I was doing. The only treatment is through surgery and then following up with a lot of physical therapy and rehabilitating the leg so that you can use those muscles without pain. It also was incredibly daunting because it's not a minor surgery at all. I joined the Metrowest YMCA pretty early on after the first surgery. Everyone was very accommodating and friendly. I think my first day there, I ended up getting a full tour of the entire facility from a staff member who saw me kind of just wandering around a little bit. I think that's just kind of on par for all of the interactions I've had there. I thought I was good to go. and then the other leg started hurting. It's a dramatic process of going through surgery and recovering and starting to feel like myself again and seeing improvement and feeling optimistic, and then just falling to a new low of feeling those symptoms again and knowing exactly what it is. Yeah, there were some tears. I had a lot of support through the whole process. I had friends and family backing me, but then through the second round of recovery, I also had the YMCA family backing me. It helps you to keep going, helps you to not give up when it starts to hurt and when it gets harder. And I think I felt a lot more of that at the Y. Whether it was the staff members that I'd start to recognize in the morning or, the friends at the pool, that atmosphere helps you to just keep coming back, and that definitely played a pretty big difference in getting through round 2. It honestly never crossed my mind to stop. Being active is just what I love to do. Getting outside, doing any kind of just activity is a huge part of my life. I actually started seeing the flyers for a previous year's marathon team while I was working out at the Y. I would start to see the faces of the runners that were representing the Metrowest Y that year. Boston has always been a dream of mine to run, and now I was part of this YMCA community that had a team that does run. Having that be the shining light as I'm doing my steps on a treadmill or a stair stepper is certainly motivational and helped me get through a lot there. It's been such a fun experience being part of a team to train for a marathon. They're there for all of the team calls and supporting each other through the fundraising, but we also have our long runs on Saturdays. So I've been running with Paul and Becca a lot. I am fundraising as part of the Y, but the amount that the Y has done for me doesn't even start to equate. I've learned that it's just so much more than a gym, and that's where this fundraising does matter. It's how I'm supporting the rest of the community through this fundraising, and my personal connection to the gym side of it is just one small piece of the entire Metrowest Y. The Metrowest YMCA is definitely a good place to make a comeback.
I'd like to ask Sam, along with Shell, a couple of members of the YMCA's Boston Marathon team to join me up here on stage for just a moment to talk a little bit about why you're running for the Y. So Sam and Shell. So thank you for sharing your story in the video about why you're running, and Shell, you as well. We'll speak to you in just a minute. Sam, tell us a little bit about your journey.
Sure, thanks. I'm just so excited to be here and be part of the Boston Marathon team for the Metrowest Y. I just wanted to say thank you to the Y for giving me the opportunity to be here and share my story. Being part of this team is just a really exciting step in kind of the long process that I took to get here. So thank you so much to Amy and everyone at the Metrowest Y, and a shout out to the rest of my Boston team that I've been training with. It's been really fun to run with you and get to know you, and I'm just so excited for Boston.
Shell, you're a staff member of the Y. Give us the story why you're running.
Hello. So I'm Shell, and I have the unique perspective of not only running for the Y this year, but also I get to work at Metrowest YMCA. And I've been deep in the impact zone now for almost 2 years, but my Y journey started over 2 decades ago. My first YMCA, I was working at a residential summer camp in upstate New York. And I was living and working at this Y when I became pregnant with my triplets. So at 20 weeks pregnant, I was placed on hospitalized bed rest and was to remain inactive and under medical care for the remainder of my pregnancy. My girls arrived at 28 weeks and weighed just 2 pounds each, and they spent an additional 2 months in the neonatal intensive care unit. We all had our share of complications, but eventually we made it home and settled into a somewhat normal routine for a triplet family. But those 4 months of being very inactive were extremely challenging for me. I have always been an active person, and so I was desperate to reclaim that side of my identity outside of just being a new mom. And I got back into running and I was swimming again, but something was just off. My body didn't feel like my own. My joints were loose, my muscles felt weak, and no matter what I did, I just couldn't seem to reclaim that side of me. So I decided to set a goal, and as a true go big or go home girl, I signed up for a marathon, because why not, right? So in 2016, I ran the Hambletonian Marathon in Goshen, New York, where I got to pull my 16-month-old triplets over the finish line with me in their wagon, which was an incredible experience, but it was a very key moment for me too. My girls, since the day they were born, proved that they are the strongest people I will ever meet, but that moment reminded me that I was strong too, and I really needed that. So fast forward to me coming through the doors of the Metrowest YMCA for the first time, I was met with that familiar feeling of community that I had experienced at my first Y and my children's first home. And that meant a lot. So getting to see the impact every single day has really led me to where I am right now of applying for this bib. But I wanted to focus on every reason why this journey is important. Because my first marathon was for me. I needed it. But this marathon is for everyone else. It's for the cancer survivor that finds community and hope through our Livestrong program. It's for the dad that signs his son up for swim lessons to prevent the near-drowning experience he had as a child. It's for the teenager who has been bullied her entire school life, but finds kindness and belonging at our summer camp, and for everyone else in between. I have outlined 26.2 reasons why I'm running this marathon so that at every mile marker, I can be reminded of somebody else that is benefiting from this journey more than me. And even though my team and myself all have different backstories that got us here, the one thing that we have in common is this desire to ensure that our programs remain accessible to all. We recognize that our community deserves access to these life-changing programs, but we can't do it alone. So I would like you to consider if you can join me and join my team in helping us pay it forward. Because right now, in a world that can sometimes feel so dark, together we have the opportunity to be the light, and that is a very powerful gift. So thank you for being here.
That was well done. Nice job. These ladies, they're going to run 20 miles tomorrow, I think, by the way. Anybody else running 20 miles tomorrow? Not on a marathon team? That was really, really beautifully put. Thank you both for all of the hard work that goes into preparing for a marathon and fundraising, and all of it to support this amazing organization that does so much for so many all around us in our community, combating food insecurity, helping people of all ages achieve their personal health goals while providing critical prevention and intervention for programs addressing chronic diseases. The WISE work continues day in and day out, as does the WISE efforts to provide before and after school care, summer camps. We heard how important those are to kids. Child care for children and families, thousands of them, making it possible for parents and caregivers to go to work. Safety around water, social emotional learning, combating social isolation. There's an epidemic of isolation in this country. The Surgeon General has spoken about it over the last couple of years. The Y is here to remedy that. Live Strong at the Y for cancer survivors, Parkinson's wellness programs, diabetes prevention, and so much more. It happens at the YMCA every single day. Your being here today makes more of that work possible. but I'm asking you to do more if you can. You can be involved in a million different ways. You can donate, you can volunteer, you can advocate. You've taken a morning off to be with us this morning, and we're grateful for that. But we need more because we're better together, and the need has never been greater. You have the opportunity this morning to make a difference. You can support this work and ensure that the Y can continue to be there for area kids and area families, just like mine and just like yours, all throughout Metro West and beyond, when they need us most. We're asking you to consider making a pledge this morning. Your contribution directly impacts the continuity of all of these vital programs and more, ensuring that the Y can go on meeting the evolving needs of our community, of families in our community, with resilience and compassion. It's what we do at the Y. If you've already made a gift, we thank you very much. If you have not, this is your chance. You got a runner's bib just like this when you came in here today. It's a pledge form. Turn it over on the back. There's boxes you can check. Even if you'd like to volunteer, you can let us know that you'd like to do that. Please consider filling out the form now. You can put it in those beautiful paper bags that are in the middle of the table, which were decorated, by the way, by children at the Early Learning Center at the Metrowest YMCA. A little round of applause for the Early Learning Center. We've been doing a lot of applause today, but I don't know anybody who likes asking people for money. I don't especially love it, but I love this because the work is too important, right? That's why we're here today. I understand, and I think everybody here understands how meaningful this work is. So please, we're asking you to do what you can. There are QR codes on your table and on the bibs for you to donate. You can do it by Venmo. You can even give by text. No gift is too big or too small. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support, and thank you for being here today. Josh, back to you.
David, thank you very much. And of course, thank you so much to Sam and to Shell for your beautiful words and for your commitment to the Metro West Y. It is time to pivot to our Inspiration Award honorees. You heard them as we were introducing everyone today as we celebrate 10 years of this award. We would like to begin with a quick look back at our past honorees. Here he comes, the man, the myth, Dave McGilvery. But just before, let's have a look at the boards. All right, Dave, before you wander up here, I have just a quick word to say about you. I mean, Dave is fast, and he was already almost up here before I finished talking. You saw Dave in just about all of those photos there, and I think it really speaks to the man that he is. He is always involved. He is always present. I text him, he responds. I said, Dave, I really need this interview. Can we get it set up? Yes. And there are no questions asked because he's that kind of a guy. David, this run up here you're about to do does not count as your run for the day. You need to do a different one. It has to be with running shoes. We're clear. Okay. Without further ado, here's Dave McGilvery.
So thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. I already did my run earlier this morning, so 3 o'clock this morning. It was cold out. The Inspiration Award is presented to the individual who, through their amazing physical achievements, philanthropic work, and contributions to the community, inspire thousands of people throughout their exceptional gifts of time and talent. I would first like to take a moment to remember one of those honorees who we lost a few months ago. So I would like to first express my deepest appreciation to the Metrowest YMCA and all of you for remembering Susan Hurley and to celebrate her amazing life. Susan was a recipient of a past YMCA Inspirational Award with Rick Muir. Never in my life have I seen so many social media posts and special tributes to one person than I've seen these past 4 months for Susan, as well as the incredible outpouring of love, appreciation, respect, admiration, and gratitude that has been shared. Susan got her start as a cheerleader for the New England Patriots, and then as a cheerleader for countless others in need, or running for those in need, like all of us. To her, it was always about team. Thus was born her pride and joy business, charity teams. She always believed there was no such thing as an individual achievement. It was always about the good and kind people who you surround yourself with, which she certainly did, and by the thousands. She taught us that when you give, you actually receive more in return. I believe one of the most important things any of us can do in our lives is to put a smile on other people's faces. Seems like a simple concept, eh? But it's not always that easy. There was no one better at this than Susan. And she did it every single day. And not to just hundreds of people, but to thousands of people. When training on the Boston Marathon course with her, it seemed like every runner who passed her said hi to Susan with the brightest smile and heightened enthusiasm. Everyone knew her. Sometimes it would take her about an hour just to run 2 miles because she would stop 52 times along the way to hug and cheer for everyone else. She was a visionary and knew the power of doing something for a greater purpose. I've always said that the genius is seeing it in the seed. And Susan immediately saw a chance to do good and created her charity teams business. She started a movement in our industry that caught on all over the world. She raised the bar and set the standard. She certainly was tenacious in her quest to inspire people, to help people, to make people feel good about themselves. And with raising critical funds, so many worthwhile causes and people in need. And she pretty much managed all of this on her own. She truly was a champion for charity, for giving back, and she never sought credit for any of it. Thousands of people inspired and millions of dollars raised, all by one person. She changed lives and saved lives. She touched everyone, and most of them on a very personal level. She was an accomplished runner and triathlete herself, competing in the Hawaii Ironman Triathlon World Championship on our honeymoon, and countless other triathlons, marathons, and road races around the country. We will carry on her legacy. Our mission is to continue her work and to remember her kindness and her compassion. What was once done by one person will now be done by thousands and thousands of people who have offered to help. She started a movement, and we are not going to let it stop. Her sons, Ryan and Max, and I are working on having a bench installed next to the Johnny Kelly statue in Newton in her memory, where runners can sit and rest and reflect. We are also creating the Susan Hurley Fund, which will support so many of the causes that were near and dear to her. As such, I would like to make the first donation to the YMCA right now in Susan's honor. So thank you all for being her friend, being her rock, being her inspiration, her motivation, and honestly, her world. Okay, so we'll get to the highlight of this morning's breakfast. It's hard to believe we have been presenting this award for 10 years, beginning with Dick and Rick Hoyt. One of the things I enjoyed a lot doing with the Hoyts was selecting the honoree for the Inspirational Award each year. It is great to have Russ continuing to be involved in that process, along with Becca Peasy, Tim Kilduff, and Kim Chisholm. And we are excited to honor 3 incredible individuals this morning. I would like to have Kim join me for our first presentation. Here she comes. Round of applause for Kim. What the heck? Huh?
Hi, everybody. Tim could not be here today. He's with family this morning, but he sends all his best to everybody. This is one of his favorite events every year, so he is sorry to miss it, but he is definitely here with us. So I'm here to talk about Bobbi Gibb. There is a wonderful children's book called The Girl Who Ran. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's this beautifully illustrated children's book about Bobbi. And I reread it this week. And it's really a wonderful representation of not only her accomplishment, but her connection to the earth, sky, and the human spirit. So I just wanted to share some quick reflections on that. So the story goes, one day her father brought her to the Boston Marathon, and there she saw them. Hundreds of people moving as one, kindred spirits, breathing the same air, pounding the same earth. Something ancient stirred in her. I have to be a part of this. But the world had other ideas. Girls don't run. Don't be silly. Odd hobby for a girl. So she went to the woods. Because the woods don't tell you what you can't do. The trees don't doubt you. The earth just holds you, steady, honest, and true. She ran the forests, she ran the plains and the mountains, and mile by mile, she wasn't just training her body, she was listening to something deeper, something that said, you belong in this world, and the world belongs to you. She borrowed her brother's clothes, she laced up her shoes, and she made her way to Hopkinton, heart on fire, spirit rooted like a tree. The men passed her, and they couldn't believe their eyes. But something happened. The cheers began, and they grew, rising like the wind, like a roar that shook the morning air, and she kept going. Like wind in the fire, she kept going. And when Bobbi Gibb crossed that finish line in 1966, history wasn't just recorded, it was felt. Hearts cracked open, minds stretched wide, and the world became larger than it had been the day before. Because that's what courage does. It doesn't just free the one who acts, it frees everyone watching. So every girl who was told, don't be silly, found her voice. Every woman who stood on the edge of something impossible heard footsteps. They heard Bobbi's footsteps and knew the path could be walked. Every soul who ever doubted their place in the world looked up and saw someone who went into the woods, listened to the earth, and came back certain. She didn't just run a race, she ran for us, for ones who came after, for the ones still finding their way, and for anyone who's ever needed proof that the fire inside them is real. She ran with strength that only hope can inspire. Rooted in earth, carried in the spirit, lighting the way for all who follow. Thank you, Bobbi, for inspiring so many. You've forever made an impact. So Bobbi, if you'd like to come up, we'd love to take a photo, and if you'd like to say a few words. And then it is Women's History Month, so we thought it would be only appropriate to have the Metrowest YMCA Board Chair Regina Marshall and Vice Chair Vizzy Tilak come and join us for the photo.
Wow, you guys are amazing. Every single one of you has done so much to help the world, to help others. It's just so moving. And the YMCA, 175 years, you say? And I'm just saying, we have to remember that it's the 250th anniversary of our country, of the Declaration of Independence, which gives everyone the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness means loving your neighbor and helping other people. That's what it means to me. And I just wanted to say something about when I trained for the marathon. Hey, everybody's heard about the bushes, and hiding in the bushes. I wrote for my application, and I received a reply from Will Cloney at the BAA. Women are not physiologically able to run 26 miles, and they're not allowed to do so. So, sorry, it's a men's division race. The longest race for women is 1.5 miles. And I grew up in the 40s and 50s. I was born in the middle of World War II. And the women's opportunities were very limited then, and I grew up fuming about this. Suddenly I saw, if I can prove this misconception about women wrong, I can throw into question all the other misconceptions. And this goes for any misconception, any false belief leads to some kind of oppression for someone, and I'm always fighting against oppression, and I know all of you are too, reaching out neighbor to neighbor. And so in this country, we have freedom, we have independence, but we also have this sense of community, this sense of helping others, the help of holding hands together and making something together that works. And to me, the greatest happiness is reaching out and helping other people to become all they can become. And that's what the YMCA does, and this what this country stands for. And so I just wanted to say that part of my training, I went across the whole country with my Malamute dog. I ran in a different place across this beautiful country. I love this country. And at night, I slept out. I camped out. I was a great camper. And I'd go and knock on somebody's door out in the Midwest. And, could I camp in your back field? Yes, help yourself, camp. And it was great. And one time I was in Kansas, a woman came to the door and said, "No, my dear, what are you doing? No, come in, stay with us." And she was taking care of her paralyzed son there, all by herself in the middle of Canvas, trying to run this farm. And she was so beautiful and so loving. And I thought, these are Americans all across the country, all helping each other and living these lives with freedom and yet with caring. And I was just in love with this country, and I still am. And you guys are a beautiful example of how that works here at the Y, and everybody does something. Everybody comes to this world with something to give to make the world better, and I believe all of you do that in a huge amount. of time and energy you spend on this. So thank you so much.
Okay, to present our next inspirational award, I'd like to have Russ Hoyt and Becca Peasy come on up. One thing for Becca, I have a friend, Becca, who is from the United Kingdom, and he's obsessed with the number 7. Everything he does is 7, in groups of 7. And so he called me up one day about 2 months ago, and we were talking about something, and he said, oh, by the way, I changed my last name. I said, you did? What's your last name? He said, 7. I said, you freaking changed your last name to 7? What are you, nuts? Mark 7 is now his legal name. So, Becca, I think you should change your last name. Becca 777. Because that's what she's most well known for. So welcome Russ Hoyt and Becca 777.
Good morning, everyone. Andrew McAllister, Ross Ormond, and their families have traveled all the way from San Antonio, Texas. And to make these inspiration awardees feel right at home, Beck, I think we should do a little something with our wardrobe. Well, I think this is a little better now. So please join us in saying, howdy, y'all. Ready? Howdy, y'all. What do you think, Becca? All right. Yeehaw. All right. Now, for everyone else here, too, if you'd like to adjust your wardrobe, we have these Yes You Can bracelets. Those are a gift from the Hoyt Foundation as a thank you for honoring Dad and Rick at the 10-year anniversary. So please take your bracelets and make sure that you updress your wardrobe as well. Becca and I have the honor, special honor today of introducing 2 gentlemen who have become much more than friends. At this point, Ross and Andrew truly feel more like members of the Hoyt family. Andrew, who has cerebral palsy, and Ross are breaking barriers and inspiring millions around the world. Together, they have tackled the globe's greatest marathons: Berlin, New York City, London, Chicago, Tokyo, and of course, Boston, competing as part of Team Hoyt, and even earning podium finishes in some of those world majors along the way. I am so proud of how they have carried forward what Dad and Rick began, and they have now built it into an international movement of determination, faith, and inclusion.
In addition to running as a duo team in marathons worldwide, Andrew founded the Believe It Foundation in 2008, an organization dedicated to enriching the lives of physically challenged children through inclusion. Through the Believe It Foundation, more than 3,000 children across 24 school districts have been able to ride modified bikes, opening doors to friendships, experiences, and independences that were once out of reach. Andrew and Ross embody everything that the YMCA stands for. They live out our Team Hoyt's Yes You Can spirit every single day, and that's why it's our absolute pleasure to name them our 2026 Inspirational Award winners.
Please join us in welcoming Andrew McAllister and Ross Ormond.
Thank y'all so much to the Metrowest YMCA and to the Hoyt Foundation and everybody here today. When we started this 6-star journey, I guess over 3 years ago, to be honest, I was afraid to fly and just afraid to do a lot of things, and I was very comfortable in my surroundings. And what Ross did for me in running was to help me step outside of those comforts and those boundaries and realize that I could accomplish whatever I wanted to and whatever I wanted to set my mind to do. And that's what I hope that people through our journey get to do, is that somebody who didn't think they could do something can now feel like they can do something through what we were able to do. And I told Ross when we started the journey was that I always wanted to remember the Hoyt family, because without them we wouldn't have been able to do it. The love between a son and a father is something remarkable, and I got to have it between a friend and myself. Our love is remarkable, Ross, and I love each other, and we will always have the 6-star journey together. And so thank you, my brother Ross, for helping us do this.
You know, as Andrew has said, the journey has been pretty remarkable. Huge thanks to the Hoyt family. Little did we know back in 2017 when we made the first call to Dick that it was going to be here. So one of the things that I've heard this morning is that community and a sense of belonging is what the Y does and continues to do for people, not just in this community but everywhere. And when I look around, I see the Hoyt family. We truly do feel part of the family. I see Brendan and Joseph and Mike. I wish we had time to tell you kind of our 2.5-year journey to the 6 World Majors. We do not have time for that. But there's just so many great moments, and none of it would have been possible without the support of the Hoyts, Mike. Our Boston story is pretty epic. But thank you to the YMCA and for everything, to the Hoyt family. This is truly an honor, truly special. And the last thing I'll say is, one of the things that I see up here is that that sense of belonging, and I think that duo teams we belong. We belong at races. So we're happy to be a part of that. So thank you very much.
One more time for these folks. Oh my gosh. What a morning, folks. Oh my goodness. Right? Thank you all so much for being here. Whew. I think I have enough inspiration now to carry me throughout the year, I think. I'm not kidding. Thank you all so much. I'm not going to even start trying to single out people that I want to thank. But again, the Y is about community. This is our community. And I want to just thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you do, to help support our Y, to help support kids and families in our communities. I want to turn it to Dave just to say quick thank yous and goodbyes.
Thank you and goodbye.
Come on,
Hey.
guy. Final thoughts?
Anybody want to go for 15-mile run, 20-mile run? You?
Yeah, I'm in.
Thank you for the kind words too, Josh.
And guys, before we go, we all know that everyone in this room could have been somewhere else this morning. And as I often say, availability, reliability, those are sometimes the best abilities. And so it's great to see all of you every year. Thank you so much for the support. 37 days until the marathon, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the number. So buckle up. Here we go for year number 130. Thank you all so much.
Thank you all. Take care. For all of those that were part of our grand